Here are the top stories for today, April 27, 2020. The Joint Task Force Coronavirus Shield defends the deployment of police and military troops in reducing cases of enhanced community quarantine violations. The Philippines coordinates with Japan for the planned clinical trials of the anti-flu vaccine Avigan for COVID-19 patients. The Baguio City General Hospital closes its doors to patients as 3 of its doctors contract COVID-19. And operations of Philippine offshore gaming operators will remain suspended in areas under general community quarantine. Good day, I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. The Joint Task Force Coronavirus Shield reports reduced cases of ECQ violations following the deployment of Special Action Force and Highway Patrol Group personnel. In a statement late Sunday, Lieutenant General Guillermo Eleazar said that the deployment of these specialized police troops along with military personnel and armored personnel carriers last April 21st reduced cases of quarantine violations by almost 50%. From a total of 3,314 ECQ violators on April 21, the figure went down to 3,306 on April 22nd and 1,585 on April 23rd. Luzon posted the biggest decline in the number of ECQ violators from 2,313 on April 22nd to 1,152 on April 23rd. Eleazar said they are monitoring the situation on the ground on a daily basis in order to make immediate and necessary security adjustments in any area where an increase of ECQ violators are monitored. The JTF CV Shield is the enforcement arm of the Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases, or IATF-EID. It is currently waiting for specific guidelines that would be implemented for the areas that will remain under an ECQ until May 15 and those that will be under a general community quarantine starting May 1st. Malacanang on Sunday said the proposed 2021 budget will prioritize the country's response to the coronavirus disease pandemic. According to presidential spokesperson Harry Roque, the executive department will be submitting a different type of budget proposal this coming July, the same month Duterte is expected to deliver his 5th State of the Nation address. Roque said there will be some government projects that will have to be set aside to give more importance to the needs of Filipinos. He also assured that the government has enough funds to sustain the Social Amelioration Program and other cash assistance programs. He said the government will also request for a supplemental budget to augment the government's resources for COVID-19 response. Last Friday, April 24th, Duterte said he might ask Congress to approve a supplemental budget to augment the government's depleting sources for COVID-19. Congress has granted Duterte special powers to tap some 275 billion pesos in unused government funds to stop the further transmission of COVID-19 in the country. Finance Secretary Carlos Dominguez III said the national government has already spent 352.7 billion pesos to address COVID-19. An international organization has recognized the government's efforts in providing emergency employment assistance to workers to help cushion the impact of COVID-19 pandemic. According to the Department of Labor and Employment on Saturday, the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization has acknowledged the agency's tulong panghanapbuhay sa ating displaced, disadvantaged workers or TUPAD. It says the Philippines is among the only 11 countries that introduce social protection measures for the most vulnerable informal sector of the economy. Aside from the Philippines, the other countries cited for such programs are Argentina, Colombia, Ecuador, Brazil, Egypt, Australia, Thailand, Jordan, Morocco, and Tunisia. As of April 24th, almost 260,000 workers have availed the Tupad Barangay Ko Bahay Ko across all regions. The Armed Forces of the Philippines, through the Philippine Air Force, has successfully transported 30 million pesos worth of medical supplies and personal protective equipment donated by Senator Sherwin Gatchalian. The items were acquired from Fujian, China, and transported to the Philippines via C-130 Hercules cargo aircraft and arrived at Villamor Air Base, Pasay City at around 4 p.m. on Sunday. The donated items consist of 20,000 PPEs, 3,000 face shields, 3,000 goggles, 100,000 gloves, 42,000 KN95 masks, and 500,000 surgical face masks. The donation is part of the Gatchalian family's ongoing humanitarian efforts. Supermarkets here in the country are urged to go on hiring spree amid the COVID-19 pandemic. And farmers in Rizal receive multivitamins and supplementary food. More on these from Teresa Montemayor.
Deputy Speaker and Surigao del Sur Representative Johnny Pimentel has challenged the Philippines' top retailers to follow in the footsteps of America's Walmart, which has hired some 200,000 new temporary or part-time workers amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Pimentel addressed his challenge to SM Retail, Robinsons Retail, Costco Capital, Philippine 7 Corporation, and other big retailers. Walmart is said to keep all its staff on the payroll and give bonuses for staying on the job. Walmart also enlisted thousands of temporary and part-time workers. Many of the new workers who were signed up by Walmart are on paid leave from restaurants and hotels in America that have been hammered by the pandemic. In other news, more than 3,000 farmers in Rizal Province are thankful for the multivitamins and ready-to-use supplementary food provided by the Department of Agrarian Reform or DAR. DAR Provincial Agrarian Reform Program Officer Saturnino Bello, together with farmer leaders of agrarian cooperatives, received 35 boxes containing 500 bottles of multivitamins. They also received 35 boxes of ready-to-use supplementary food from DAR Undersecretary Virginia Orogo, officials of Lions Club Marikina District 301, and the Philippine Coast Guard on April 17. Bellew said 3,771 members of 29 agrarian cooperatives will benefit from the donation. The 29 agrarian cooperatives are located in Halahala, Tanay, Pelilla, Rodriguez, and Pinugay. Meanwhile, the Philippines formally received on Saturday 700 units of QSense 2019 nCoV detection kits from the government of the Republic of Korea. The COVID-19 test kits, which can yield a total of 35,000 tests, are valued at $500,000 US. Prior to this donation of test kits, Republic of Korea has also shared its know-how and its model in flattening COVID-19 by hosting various web seminars for Philippine government officials and experts. The actual kits were immediately delivered to the DOH after clearing entry formalities. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Teresa Montemayor.
Still to come, the Philippines coordinates with Japan for the planned clinical trials of the anti-flu vaccine Avigan for COVID-19 patients. The Baguio General Hospital closes its doors to patients as 3 of its doctors contract COVID-19. More on these when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Kakagaling ko lang ng grocery. Siyempre, hindi ko hahayaan na pumasok ang COVID-19 sa bahay at mapahamak ang pamilya ko. Kaya iiwan ko ang sapatos ko sa labas. At ngayon, maghuhugas ako ng kamay ng 20 seconds. O ayan, wala na ang virus. Tandaan, buhay ng pamilya natin na nakasalalay. Let's heal as one.
Alam niyo ba na pumapasok ang COVID-19 sa ating katawan sa pamamagitan ng mata, ilong at bibig? Kaya lagi kaming conscious dito sa bahay kapag umuubo kami. Lagi kami naghuhugas ng kamay in 20 seconds. Pag lumalabas kami, lagi namin suot ang mask. Lagi lang natin tatandaan mga mamshi. Buhay ng pamilya natin ang nakasalalay dito. Let's heal as one.
Alamin ang tamang paraan ng pag-ubo upang mapigilan ang paglaganap ng Coronavirus Disease 2019. Ugaliing magdala ng panyo o tissue. Kung uubo o babahing, takpan ang buong ilong at bibig gamit ang panyo o tissue. Kung walang dalang panyo o tissue, maaaring gamitin ang braso na pantakip. Kung nakararamdam na kailangan umubo o bumahing, agad na dumistansya sa mga tao sa paligid. Huwag dumura kung saan-saan, gumamit ng tissue at itapon sa basurahan. Ugaliin ang paghuhugas ng kamay at paggamit ng alcohol o hand sanitizer upang mamatay ang mikrobyo. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to! Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito.
The Philippines is in the initial stages of coordination with the Japanese government for the planned clinical trials of Avigan for COVID-19 patients in the country. Avigan is a Japanese anti-influenza drug otherwise known as favipiravir. It has been touted as a promising treatment for COVID-19. Aside from this medicine, DOH Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergere said the Philippines is exploring other ways to manage COVID-19 cases. She said UPPGH already started their convalescent plasma therapy on clinical trial and they've been reporting good results. However, she says that it is not enough evidence to say this is really effective. UPPGH is the only hospital in the country with approved protocol to conduct such procedure. Meanwhile, some 21 Philippine hospitals enrolled for the World Health Organization's Solidarity Trial involving 4 off-label drugs reportedly effective in managing COVID-19 cases. Malacanang on Sunday denied that the government is seeking the deportation of an overseas Filipino worker in Taiwan for alleged cyber libel. This after the Department of Labor and Employment accused an OFW of cyber libel for the willful posting of nasty and malevolent materials against President Duterte on Facebook intended to cause hatred amidst the global health crisis brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said there is no truth that Malacanang has sought for her deportation because the government does not interfere to what the OFWs are saying. Roque also emphasized the Filipinos' right to freedom of expression and will leave it to authorities in Taiwan to decide on the OFW's fate. Under the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, the state can derogate, among others, freedom of expression when there is a national emergency. The Labor Department identified the OFW as Elanel Egot Ordidor, an alleged caregiver employed in Yunlin County, Taiwan. She also reportedly has a group organized to discredit and malign the president and destabilize the government. Dole said that the Philippine Overseas Labor Office has already coordinated with Ordidor's broker and employer on her deportation on the basis of the gravity of her offense under Philippine law. In our business news, the Philippines is not expected to fail from payment of its foreign obligations despite the possibility of a recession because of improved fundamentals. Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas Governor Benjamin Diokno made this announcement as economies around the world face depressed growth this year because of the economic impact of the COVID-19 global pandemic. Diokno said the world economy is expected to register its deepest global recession this century. He said the Philippine economy might not escape a recession this year, but will not risk a debt default because it was in a sound fiscal and monetary state when the pandemic hit the country. He said with the fiscal stimulus owing to the pandemic and with the deficit to GDP ratio rising from 3.2% to 5.3%, the debt to the GDP ratio might hit a modest 47.0%. The government has formulated a 4-pillar program economic recovery plan, which entails a 1.45 trillion peso worth of fiscal measures aimed to back economic recovery post-COVID-19 pandemic. The Baguio General Hospital and Medical Center will no longer accept patients after 8 of its healthcare workers, 3 of them doctors, tested positive for COVID-19. BGHMC Medical Chief Dr. Ricardo Runes Jr. on Sunday evening ordered doctors who are not on any COVID-19 team and asymptomatic to immediately undergo a 14-day self-quarantine. Meanwhile, those who exhibit symptoms must immediately report to the BGHMC triage area for swabbing. Runes also told consultants not to see patients in other hospitals. On the same day, Mayor Benjamin Magalong ordered the immediate testing of health workers who are potentially exposed to patients confirmed to have COVID-19 in all hospitals in the city. Last Saturday, 4 of the 7 who tested positive of COVID-19 are BGHMC health personnel. On Sunday, 4 more health personnel were infected with COVID-19. Local officials in Nueva Ecija have announced the distribution of cash and food assistance to residents affected by the enhanced community quarantine. Lawmakers at the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao are also set to distribute rice to their constituents. More on these and other news from the provinces from Chris Mundo.
The local government units in Nueva Ecija are set to distribute cash and food assistance to the people affected by the enhanced community quarantine amid the COVID-19 health crisis. Gapan City Mayor Emerson Pascual said a 50-kilo sack of rice, chicken, and 1,000 pesos cash will be delivered to every doorstep, including to non-residents. In Cabanatuan City, the city government has so far delivered in 3 waves 30 kilograms of rice and a whole dressed chicken. The provincial government, on the other hand, is distributing rice from the Nueva Ecija Provincial Food Council. In Davao Oriental, Mati City opened on Sunday its first patient care center for suspected cases of COVID-19. City Information Officer Ben Jason Teshorna said that the facility, named as the Isolation Unit of the Divine Healer, is capable of handling 14 patients at a time. The city government spent some 5 million pesos for the patient care center. There is also another building designated for triage, a separate building for frontliners, and other buildings to be rehabilitated to add more isolation rooms. Meanwhile, the Bangsamoro Transition Authority, the law-making body of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, is set to distribute 16,000 bags of rice to needy constituents affected by the economic slowdown due to the pandemic. BARMM Chief Minister Ahod Murad Ibrahim said these will be distributed to affected residents of BARMM, especially those who reside in the far-flung areas and provinces. Each of the 80 members of the BTA Parliament will be allocated with 200 bags of the commodity. 7 members of the BTA Minority Bloc also moved to donate their 2-month salary for residents affected by the COVID-19 crisis. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Chris Mundo.
Up next, operations of Philippine offshore gaming operators will remain suspended in areas under general community quarantine. And the alumni of the UST Singers assemble to sing to spread hope and positivity. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
Mga mommies, pagdating sa COVID-19, dapat hindi tayo kampante. Bagamat hindi nakikita ang sakit na ito ay nakamamatay. At hanggang ngayon wala pa rin lunas. Kaya protektahan natin ang ating pamilya. Laging maghugas ng kamay, huwag hahawakan ng mukha, at manatili sa bahay para makaiwas sa sakit na ito. Tandaan, buhay ng pamilya natin ang nakasalalay dito. Let's heal this one.
Hi Caps! Kamusta?
Well, ito dahil sa COVID-19, medyo stress.
Okay lang yan Caps. Napagdaanan ko din yan.
Ano kaya pwede natin gawin, no?
Kung nararamdaman mo na gulong-gulo ka na sa mga naririnig mo, sa mga nababasa mo, mag-pause ka muna, saka ka huminga ng malalim.
Buti na lang tumawag ka. Iba talaga pag may nangangamusta.
A strong body starts with a strong mind.
Tama. Let's heal as one.
Tandaan ang tamang paraan ng paghuhugas at paglilinis ng kamay upang makaiwas sa iba't ibang karamdaman. Basain ng tubig ang mga kamay at sabunin. Unang sabunin ang mga palad at ang likod ng mga kamay. Kuskusin na maigi ang pagitan ng mga daliri at maging ang mga kuko. Isunod ang pagitan ng mga hinlalaki at kuskusin ng paikot ang mga dulo ng mga daliri sa magkabilang palad. Banlawang mabuti ang mga kamay sa malinis na tubig at patuyuin ang mga kamay gamit ang single-use towel o air dryer. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to! Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito.
Malacanang said the temporary suspension of Philippine offshore gaming operators' operations stays in areas that will be placed under a general community quarantine beginning May 1st. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said Pogos are included in the negative list of sectors that are still prohibited to operate, while GCQ is imposed in select areas in the country. Roque clarified that the reopening of Pogos is not allowed despite the government's intent to allow its operations to augment the funding for the country's COVID-19 response. He also reminded Pogo workers that they might face arrest when they violate the quarantine protocols imposed in the country. The national government is targeting to collect 2 billion pesos in taxes per month from Pogos. Food and Drug Administration's approval may be sought to make virgin coconut oil a supplement for COVID-19 patients. Science and Technology DOST Secretary Fortunato de la Peña said clinical trials will soon be executed to see the effectiveness of VCO in COVID-19 patients' recovery. De la Peña said there would be 2 clinical trials, a hospital-based and a community-based trial. Earlier on his social media account, he mentioned that the hospital-based clinical trial would assess the possible benefits of VCO if given to patients with moderate to severe COVID-19. In the community-based study, on the other hand, VCO will be incorporated in the food provided to the patients as well as their contracts and other high-risk groups. Meanwhile, more than 100 units of RX Box were delivered to the Philippine General Hospital earlier this month. An RX Box can monitor a patient's vital signs, pulse rate, blood pressure, oxygen saturation, and even electrocardiogram readings, among others. De la Peña said RX Box was actually developed a few years ago with the objective of deploying these to rural areas where there are only a few clinical specialists. An initial 200 units were delivered to the Philippine General Hospital and a hospital in Laguna. Electric tricycles are now being utilized by local government units amid the COVID-19 pandemic. During the Laging Handa public briefing on Saturday, Energy Secretary Alfonso Cusi said the e-trikes distributed by the DOE to LGUs are now helping them to transport healthcare workers and other frontliners for free. 3,000 e-trikes were distributed to LGUs in 2019. More than 1,640 e-trikes are currently operating to serve the frontliners. In Metro Manila, the cities that are using e-trikes to transport frontliners include Mandaluyong with 170 units, Pasig with 200 units, and Malabon with 175 units, Pasay with 101 units, and Valenzuela with 250 units. Aside from the reported data of DOE, the Manila City government is one of the first LGUs to deploy e-trikes to transport healthcare workers and frontliners. Alumni of the University of Santo Tomas singers are bringing hope and positivity through their rendition of the song Isang Dugo, Isang Lahi, Isang Musika. The COVID-19 pandemic has inspired alumni of the 2-time choir of the world champion to perform individually from their respective homes around the globe. For the song collaboration, about 96 choir alumni virtually reunited and gathered together in expressing solidarity through the song with the aim of spreading love and kindness in these challenging times. Former UST singers member Vincent Evangelista, now based in Houston, Texas, said the song is a special tribute to Filipinos, especially frontliners and essential workers. 25 of the singers, including Evangelista, are actual frontliners and essential workers themselves. He said, while the virus has tried people's souls, it has also drawn out the strength and resilience of the nation. He said that through this song, they hope to impart their gratitude and show everyone that the world can get past this challenge. Let's take another look at today's biggest stories. The Joint Task Force Coronavirus Shield defends the deployment of police and military troops in reducing cases of enhanced community quarantine violations. The Philippines coordinates with Japan for the planned clinical trials of the anti-flu vaccine Avigan for COVID-19 patients. The Baguio City General Hospital closes its doors to patients as 3 of its doctors contract COVID-19. And operations of Philippine offshore gaming operators will remain suspended in areas under general community quarantine. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. To check out more news content, check our webpage or head onto the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. We are shown on the pages of the PCOO and its attached agencies. Also, watch us on television on PTV4 and IBC 13. And that's your daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know. From the PNA Newsroom, I am William Theo. Good day and stay at home.